Have you ever let someone walk all over you? Their charm so slick you didn't notice the sting until it was too late. That's where my story begins, in the quiet betrayal of staying silent. I'm Nicole, 28, 2 years into a digital marketing job, surrounded by the hum of keyboards and the bitter scent of office coffee. I was the peacemaker, the one who smiled through tension, swallowing frustration like cold medicine because conflict felt like a storm I couldn't face. But some people, like storm clouds themselves, force you to confront the cracks in your facade, hinting at chaos to come with every calculated move. It started when Tiffany joined our team. At 31, she was all polished blonde hair and designer outfits, her confidence a quiet envy in my chest. On her first day, I thought, what an elegant woman, her poise almost dazzling. But the signs were there, subtle as a shadow moving across the room. At her welcome lunch, as we split the bill, Tiffany got busy on her phone. "Sorry guys, it's my mom, an emergency," she said, rushing out. "Can you cover me? I'll transfer later." She didn't. The next week at a happy hour, she ordered 3 $15 cocktails, then vanished to the bathroom when the bill arrived, claiming a card issue. Lucas, too kind for his own good, paid her share. I watched, caught between disbelief and awe at her audacity. How does someone pull this off without shame? Her excuses piled up over months, each one a polished performance. I forgot my wallet, my app's down, an emergency call, always with a sincere expression that made you doubt your doubt. Yet her life screamed excess. A new Audi, bags costing more than my rent, nails done at upscale salons. Her desk was a showcase of shopping bags from stores I only window shopped. At group lunches, she'd order the priciest dish, then get an urgent call as the bill came. At happy hours, she'd pick $25 drinks, slip out before paying, and promise transfers that never came. After 6 months, I saw it wasn't bad luck. It was a system, exploiting our politeness, our fear of making a scene. The worst part, she didn't need to. Tiffany flaunted a lifestyle we only dreamed of, no sign of financial strain. I started tracking her moves, each incident a splinter under my skin. A $60 sushi share she dodged. A $20 latte run she forgot to repay. It wasn't just me. She targeted good people like Lucas, who stretched every dollar for his sick mom. Or Zoe, new to the city and eager to fit in. I felt foolish for letting it slide, my silence enabling her to prey on their kindness. One lunch, she ordered a $45 grilled salmon, while we chose cheaper options. When the bill came, she got a dentist emergency. "Guys, my root canal's acting up," she said, grabbing her bag. "Can you split it? I'll pay today." She didn't. Monday, she strutted in with a $300 haircut, casually saying, "I treated myself. New color, hydration, nails." It hit me. Paying her share wasn't a priority. Her appearance was. She counted on someone always covering her. The office felt heavier then, tension simmering in stolen glances, colleagues' smiles strained. I'd lie awake, replaying her excuses, the clink of glasses at happy hours turning sour in my memory. Small betrayals added up, petty cash borrowed for coffee, rides taken without gas money, each chipped at our trust, hinting at deeper fractures if no one acted. Zoe's quiet withdrawal, Lucas's skipped outings, they were casualties of Tiffany's game, and my passivity had let it fester. But that Tuesday in October, something shifted. Zoe's birthday brownies, made with love and $100 ingredients, were devoured by Tiffany, who mocked them as dry. Zoe's crushed expression was my breaking point. The break room's chocolate scent lingered, a bitter note in the air, and I knew I had to act, to protect the people I cared about from a predator in designer heels. Zoe's tear-streaked face haunted me. Her trembling hands clutching the empty brownie tray as Tiffany's cruel words echoed in the break room. Lucas's defeated slump after his $40 poke bowl was stolen lingered too, a reminder of the kindness Tiffany preyed on. These weren't random slights. They were part of a pattern I'd ignored too long. My politeness, a shield that had started to crack. I began watching Tiffany closely, noticing details I'd brushed off. Her Audi keys glinting on her desk, glossy shopping bags from boutiques I'd never enter, her manicured nails tapping impatiently. Each observation stung, like grit in an open wound, demanding I pay attention. For 6 months, Tiffany's behavior grew impossible to dismiss. At a team dinner, she ordered $50 truffle pasta, then claimed her phone died when the bill came, promising to Venmo later. She didn't. At a coffee run, she'd coax someone into covering her $8 latte, citing a forgotten card, only to flaunt a $200 scarf the next day. Her excuses were creative: a vet emergency for a non-existent pet, a glitching bank app, a cousin needing urgent help. She delivered them with wide-eyed sincerity, her voice laced with just enough distress to make you question your doubt. What burned most was the contrast. While we budgeted for rent, Tiffany lived like a socialite. $400 sunglasses, rooftop brunches, a sleek Audi parked out front. Her Instagram showcased $600 spa days, yet she'd sigh about tight finances, hand dramatically on her forehead. She exploited Lucas, who stretched every dollar for his sick mom, and Zoe, still navigating city life. Their kindness was her currency, spent without hesitation. I started a mental ledger, each incident a tally mark in my growing frustration. She forgot her wallet at a sushi outing, leaving Sarah to cover her $60 share. At a bar, she ordered a $25 martini, then slipped out during an emergency call, leaving Miguel stuck. I'd lie awake, scrolling through screenshots of her broken promises, wondering why I'd stayed silent. The office felt tense, conversations hushed, Lucas skipping happy hours, Zoe retreating. Tiffany's audacity wasn't a quirk, it was a system, banking on our reluctance to make a scene. One Friday, she ordered a $45 lobster roll, then claimed a declined card, already halfway to the door. "Can you cover me? I'll sort it tomorrow," she said. Lucas reached for his wallet, but I caught his eye, shaking my head. Not this time, I thought. The restaurant's chatter faded as I realized I couldn't stay silent. Tiffany wasn't just affecting me, she was hurting people I cared about. I didn't know how yet, but I had to act. Driving home, the city's glow mirrored my resolve. I thought of Zoe's crumpled expression, Lucas's empty lunch container, and the betrayals we'd endured. My hands gripped the steering wheel, leather cool against my palms, as a plan took shape. My boyfriend David, a chef with connections, could help. Tiffany's days of exploiting us were numbered, and I was ready to tip the scales. The break room smelled faintly of burnt coffee and Zoe's imported chocolate, a bitter reminder of the moment Tiffany crossed a line I couldn't unsee. Her cruel dismissal of Zoe's brownies, calling them dry and cheap while licking her fingers, left Zoe's eyes brimming with tears, her pride shattered in front of colleagues who hadn't even tasted her gift. I stood frozen, gripping my mug, the warmth doing nothing to ease the cold anger pooling in my chest. It wasn't just about the brownies. It was the way Tiffany turned kindness into a weapon, exploiting Zoe's vulnerability without a flicker of remorse. That Tuesday in October marked a shift, like the air before a storm grows heavy, and I knew I couldn't keep swallowing my frustration. The final straw came a week later, on a Friday when we ordered Hawaiian food to celebrate surviving a grueling project. Lucas, always careful with money, had splurged on a $40 poke bowl with salmon and tuna, a rare treat he'd looked forward to all week. I can still see him smiling as he described it. Only once a month I'd give myself this gift, his voice light with anticipation. When the food arrived, Lucas was stuck on a client call, a critical negotiation he'd been prepping for weeks. He gestured to us that he'd be quick, leaving his poke bowl on the kitchen table with the rest of our orders. Tiffany, always alert for an opportunity, glanced around, saw no one watching, and took it. Not a mistake. She deliberately picked up the most expensive dish, sat down, and started eating. I was across the room, sorting through emails, when I noticed her scooping chunks of salmon like it was hers. My stomach twisted, a mix of disbelief and disgust. When Lucas returned, his call finally done, he found only an empty container in the trash, the label still reading his name. "Tiffany, that was my poke bowl," he said, pointing to the discarded box, his voice steady but tight. "Oh, I thought it was mine," she replied, not even pausing as she chewed, her nonchalance almost convincing. "It was just a misunderstanding." Lucas, ever patient, pressed her. "But you didn't order a poke bowl. You got a quinoa salad. It's right there with your name on it." Tiffany shrugged, her indifference chilling. "Well, I ate it now. No way to undo it. Besides, the salmon was kind of tasteless. You should complain." The room went quiet, the hum of the office fading as colleagues exchanged glances. Lucas's face flushed, his usual calm cracking. "You can't just take people's food," he said, voice rising. "I was looking forward to that all week." Tiffany's eyes widened, her hand flying to her chest in mock offense. "Wow, how rude," she said, as if he'd slapped her. "You don't need to yell over a misunderstanding. What aggression, Lucas. Honestly, I thought you were more mature." She stormed out, leaving him without lunch, without the money to replace it, and somehow painted as the villain. The manipulation was breathtaking. She'd turned his justified anger into her own victimhood in seconds. I stood there, heart pounding, the fluorescent lights too bright, the office air too thick. This wasn't about money anymore. It was about respect, about protecting people like Zoe and Lucas from someone who thrived on their goodwill. Zoe's humiliation, Lucas's stolen meal. These were attacks on their dignity, and my silence had let it happen. I thought of all the times I'd let Tiffany's excuses slide, how I'd smiled through my irritation, and it felt like a betrayal of my own values. Enough was enough. That night, as I tossed in bed, the city's distant hum filtering through my window, I replayed every incident. The unpaid bills, the fake emergencies, the way Tiffany's charm masked her cruelty. My passivity had enabled her, but no more. I grabbed my phone and texted David, my boyfriend, who worked as a chef at an Asian fusion restaurant downtown. "Love, I need a favor," I wrote, my fingers trembling with purpose. "Do you still offer group discounts for corporate events?" His reply came quickly. "Yep, we do." "What's up?" I smiled in the dark, the first spark of a plan taking shape. "I'm organizing a dinner," I typed back. "And this time, it's going to be different." The next morning, I walked into the office with a new clarity, the weight of my decision grounding me. Tiffany's desk was cluttered as usual, new shopping bags, a $300 perfume bottle peeking out. She laughed with a colleague, her voice light as if nothing had happened. But I saw her now, not just as a freeloader, but as a predator who needed to be stopped. I wasn't sure how it would unfold, but I knew I'd use David's restaurant, his connections, and my own growing resolve to make sure Tiffany couldn't slip away again. The office felt alive with possibility, the hum of keyboards like a pulse urging me forward. This wasn't just about one dinner. It was about reclaiming our space, our trust, our dignity. The office coffee machine hissed as I poured my morning cup, its bitter steam mingling with the resolve now simmering inside me. Tiffany's latest stunt, stealing Lucas's lunch and twisting his anger into her own victimhood, had lit a fuse I couldn't extinguish. Her desk, littered with glossy bags from stores I'd never stepped foot in, mocked the goodwill she exploited. I was done being the polite bystander, watching her prey on people like Zoe and Lucas. My plan was taking shape, and David's restaurant, Sakura Fusion, was the perfect stage. Its 22nd floor location, with elevators as the only exit, meant Tiffany couldn't slip away unnoticed. The private table David promised, tucked in a quiet corner, would make her usual escape tactics impossible. This dinner wasn't just about a bill. It was about holding a mirror to her behavior. I sent an email to 8 colleagues, including Tiffany, my fingers steady as I typed. "Guys, how about a get-together this Friday? Sakura Fusion, 7 p.m., incredible Asian fusion, and I've secured a group discount." When Zoe and Lucas hesitated, wary of Tiffany's inclusion, I gave them a knowing look. "Trust me," I said, "it'll be different this time." Their cautious nods fueled my determination. All week, I watched Tiffany with new eyes, catching the calculated glint in her smile. On Monday, she forgot her wallet at a team lunch, leaving Amanda to cover her $35 share with a promise to pay later. Tuesday, she bragged about a $400 spa treatment, her voice loud enough to carry across the office. By Wednesday, when she ordered a $20 smoothie during a coffee run and claimed her app was down, I added each incident to my notes, a growing arsenal of evidence. David and I planned every detail over late-night calls, his voice warm through the phone as I paced my apartment, city lights flickering outside. "You sure about this?" he asked, curious about my sudden fire. "Just make sure the table's isolated," I replied, picturing Tiffany's usual theatrics falling flat. "No easy exits, no distractions." He chuckled, promising the staff would be briefed, no accepting excuses about cards or apps. The menu's prices, $35 to $65 per dish, were steep enough to make any unpaid share noticeable. Perfect for exposing her pattern. I felt a thrill, like the moment before a storm breaks, knowing I was finally taking control. Thursday brought a new twist. Tiffany cornered me by the copier, her smile too sweet, her perfume sharp. "Nicole, what's the vibe at this restaurant?" she asked, voice casual but probing. "Is it pricey?" I don't want anyone feeling awkward. The irony made my jaw clench, but I kept my tone light. Asian fusion, reasonable for the quality. David got us a great discount. You'll love it. Her eyes lingered, searching for cracks, but I held her gaze, my confidence a shield. She nodded, satisfied, and sauntered off, her heels clicking like a countdown. That night, I double-checked my notes. Dates, amounts, excuses, all cataloged. I wasn't just planning a dinner. I was building a case, each detail a brick in the wall I'd use to corner her. Friday morning, my stomach fluttered with nerves, but my resolve held firm. I arrived at Sakura Fusion early, the elevator's hum steadying my pulse as it climbed to the 22nd floor. David met me at the entrance, his apron smudged with soy sauce, his grin calming my jitters. "Table's set," he said, leading me to a secluded corner with a city view. "No way out without passing everyone. The bill's ready per your instructions. Split evenly or individual, no excuses." I nodded, picturing Tiffany's face when her usual tricks failed. The restaurant buzzed softly, the clink of chopsticks and murmur of voices, a backdrop to my anticipation. This was my moment to protect the people I cared about, to stop Tiffany's reign of manipulation. As I waited for the group, I ran through the plan in my head. Tiffany would order big as always, then try to bolt when the bill came. But this time, I'd be ready. Her car keys, her excuses, her lies, all accounted for. I thought of Zoe's shy smile, Lucas's quiet generosity, and the countless small betrayals they'd endured. My hands fidgeted with a napkin, folding and unfolding it, the fabric soft against my fingers. The city sparkled below, a glittering reminder of the stakes. Not just money, but trust, respect, the kind of workplace we deserved. When the first colleagues arrived, their chatter filled the air, but my focus stayed sharp. Tiffany would walk through that door soon, her confidence a mask I was ready to unpeel. This dinner was my chessboard, and I was finally playing to win. The restaurant's dim lighting cast a warm glow over our secluded table, the city's skyline twinkling through the floor-to-ceiling windows, but my pulse raced like I was standing on a cliff's edge. Tiffany swept in last, as expected, her black dress shimmering with a price tag I could only guess at, her Louboutin heels clicking with the confidence of someone who owned every room. "What a stunning place, Nicole," she said, her smile all teeth, as if she hadn't spent months dodging bills. "You've got taste." I nodded, my own smile tight, the weight of my plan settling like a stone in my stomach. The group, Lucas, Zoe, Sarah, Miguel, Amanda, James, and Kevin, chatted lightly, but I caught the wary glances Zoe and Lucas exchanged. They trusted me, but Tiffany's presence was a shadow, her charm a blade hidden in silk. We settled in, menus open, the air thick with the scent of miso and sizzling teriyaki. Tiffany didn't hesitate, her voice cutting through the chatter. "I'll take the premium sashimi combo," she announced, pointing to the $58 dish and the special tempura shrimp as an appetizer. $42. Her eyes scanned the table, daring anyone to blink. "How about sake for everyone?" she added, waving the waiter over. "The premium Junmai de Ginjo, please." The $85 bottle was on the house, she said, meaning we'd all split it, adding $10 to each person's bill. I watched Lucas grip his menu, choosing a $38 teriyaki chicken, while Zoe picked a $32 salmon salad. Everyone else stayed budget-conscious, but Tiffany acted like money was air, her chopsticks already poised for shared dishes. Dinner unfolded with her usual performance, monopolizing the edamame, gyoza, and tataki appetizers we'd ordered for the group, taking half of each without a second thought. "Wow, these gyoza are amazing," she said, grabbing her fourth. "You guys have to try." "Oh, they're gone?" Her laugh was sharp, dismissive. I sipped my water, the cold glass grounding me, cataloging every move. She dominated the conversation, spinning tales of Napa Valley wine tours and her $3,000 a week Caribbean vacation plans, her voice loud enough to drown out the restaurant's soft jazz. The group nodded politely, but I saw the tension in their shoulders, the way Lucas's jaw tightened when she mentioned her latest $800 handbag. When desserts arrived, mango sorbet and matcha cheesecake, the mood lightened, and I signaled David discreetly. It was time. The waiter approached, his voice calm but firm. "The bill's $580 for 8, so $72.50 each. Do you want to split by card or pay individually?" Tiffany's reaction was instant, like a reflex honed over months. "Oh guys, I'm feeling sick," she said, hand to her forehead, voice trembling with practiced drama. "Must be the salmon. Raw fish doesn't always agree with me. I'll hit the bathroom to freshen up. She grabbed her Prada bag and stood, leaving it on her chair, a calculated move to suggest she'd return. The table went quiet, eyes darting to me. I waited 5 minutes, timing it on my phone, then spoke, my voice steady despite my racing heart. She must be really sick. I'll check on her. I opened her bag in front of everyone, careful to keep it public. No invasion of privacy. Inside were makeup, gum, perfume, and her Audi keys, but no wallet. How odd, I said loudly. There's no wallet. Maybe it's in her car. I took the keys, my hands steady, and headed to the parking lot. Her silver Audi gleamed near the entrance, parked for convenience, as always. I opened the trunk, and my breath caught. 6 shopping bags, Nordstrom, Saks, Coach, Tiffany & Co., spilled with luxury. A $400 Theory dress, $600 Jimmy Choo shoes, a $800 Coach bag, all with tags. Receipts scattered inside showed $2,000 spent that week, including $300 at a spa on Tuesday, the same day she'd dodged a lunch bill. I snapped photos, my phone's flash cutting through the dim lot, each click fueling my resolve. Back at the table, Tiffany still hadn't returned. 10 minutes later, she appeared, pale, hand on her stomach. "Sorry guys, I think it's food poisoning," she said, pausing for effect. "I need to go home. Can I transfer my share tomorrow?" I placed my phone on the table, screen up, showing the photos. "Interesting," I said, my voice calm but sharp. "You spent over $2,000 this week, so $72.50 shouldn't be an issue." The table froze, eyes flicking between us. I swiped to a receipt. "This $400 dress is your size, paid with your card. And this $300 spa visit was Tuesday when you forgot your wallet." Tiffany's face drained of color, her mouth opening, then closing. With trembling hands, she grabbed her phone, typed furiously, and sent the $72.50 transfer. It pinged on my screen instantly. For the first time she'd paid, and 7 witnesses saw it. The rest of the dinner was silent, her defeat hanging in the air like smoke, my heart pounding with the thrill of justice. The restaurant's silence lingered in my mind as I drove home that night, the city's neon lights blurring past like streaks of defiance. Tiffany's pale face, her trembling hands as she sent that $72.50 transfer, felt like a small victory. But I knew she wouldn't go quietly. Her humiliated exit from Sakura Fusion was just the opening act. She'd spent months perfecting her role as the untouchable charmer, and I'd just torn the script apart. By Monday, the office air felt charged, like the static before a lightning strike. Tiffany arrived early, her eyes red, her posture fragile, stationed in the kitchen where colleagues grabbed their morning coffee. I watched from my desk, pretending to review emails, as she cornered Amanda with a trembling voice. "Do you have a minute?" "I need to vent about Friday," she said, her tone a masterclass in manufactured vulnerability. Throughout the morning, she wove her narrative, a spider spinning a web to trap the unwary. "To Marcus," she whispered, "Nicole attacked me publicly, humiliated me over a misunderstanding." Her voice cracked, eyes glistening just enough to sell it. With Rebecca from HR, she added a twist. I was sick with food poisoning, and she forced me to pay without empathy. By lunch, she'd told Tom for marketing a new version. "I'm struggling with medical bills for my sick father," and Nicole shamed me for it. Each story was tailored, fragile for men, indignant for women, professional for supervisors. She even hinted to Jennifer that I was envious of her Audi, painting me as petty and cruel. The speed of her counterattack was stunning, a desperate bid to flip the script and make me the villain. I felt the office shift around me, whispers trailing like shadows. Lucas pulled me aside at the copier, his voice low. "She's saying you invaded her privacy and that she's got financial troubles." Zoe nodded, her eyes wide. She told Rebecca, her dad's sick, racking up hospital bills. My stomach churned, not with fear but with a fierce clarity. Tiffany wasn't just defending herself. She was weaponizing lies to protect her facade. I couldn't let her rewrite the truth. That night, I sat at my kitchen table, the glow of my laptop casting sharp angles across the room, and began building my case like a detective, piecing together a crime scene. First, I pulled every screenshot I'd saved, 15 WhatsApp conversations over 6 months where Tiffany promised to pay later and never did. "Oh, my app's down. I'll send it tomorrow," one read. "Forgot my wallet. Monday for sure," said another. Each was a broken vow, dated and time-stamped. Then I dove into her social media, a goldmine of contradictions. Her Instagram showed a Napa Valley weekend in September, tagged at a $1,500 hotel. August had Miami Beach photos, July a Scottsdale spa resort, each trip easily $2,000. A post from August showed her with a $300 bottle of Dom Perignon, captioned, "Life's too short for cheap champagne." I screenshotted every boast, every $200 dinner, every designer tag, building a timeline of extravagance that mocked her claims of hardship. I reached out to a friend on LinkedIn who'd worked with Tiffany at her old PR firm. Her response was chilling. Tiffany did the same thing. Borrowed lunch money, dodged bills, left owing 5 people when she quit. I added her account to my dossier, a pattern stretching across years. Zoe and Lucas agreed to write testimonies. Zoe's was raw. She ate my brownies, called them dry, and humiliated me in front of everyone. I spent $100 on ingredients and woke at 5 a.m. to share something special. Lucas was blunt. She stole my $40 poke bowl, then made me the bad guy when I called her out. I compiled a list of 23 incidents. Dates, amounts, witnesses, each a brick in the wall of evidence. By Thursday, the office buzzed with Tiffany's rumors, some colleagues shooting me cautious glances, others whispering her sob story. I kept my head down, my notes hidden, but the weight of her lies pressed against me like the city's humid air. I knew Friday's happy hour would be my chance to set the record straight, to show the team who Tiffany really was. I texted David, my hand steady on my phone. "Can you get me the bar's projector tomorrow?" I asked. He replied, "Done." "You sure you're ready for this?" I was. The office coffee machine hissed as I poured another cup, its steam curling like my resolve. Tiffany thought she'd outplayed me, but I had the truth, and it was sharper than her charm. The bar's low hum of chatter and clinking glasses felt like the calm before a storm as I walked in that Friday. My laptop tucked under my arm like a shield. Tiffany's rumors had spread like wildfire all week, her tales of victimhood weaving doubt into the office air, but I was ready. The happy hour was packed. 15 colleagues sprawled across tables littered with beer bottles and nacho crumbs, the mood loose until Tiffany stood, tapping her glass with a spoon. "Guys, I need to clear the air about last week," she said, her voice quivering with rehearsed emotion. I borrowed the bar's projector earlier, and as she spoke, I connected my laptop, my hands steady despite the pulse hammering in my ears. This was my moment to unravel her lies, to protect Zoe, Lucas, and everyone else she'd exploited. Tiffany's performance was flawless. "I was humiliated by Nicole," she said, eyes glistening, over a misunderstanding about a dinner bill. "I was sick, possibly food poisoning, and instead of support, I got attacked." She paused, scanning the room, her voice dropping. "My father's ill, and I'm drowning in medical bills. I thought my colleagues would understand." The room softened, some nodding, others frowning at me. It was masterful. She'd turned my confrontation into bullying, herself into a martyr. I let her finish, my silence deliberate, then stood, my voice calm but firm. "Since we're talking openly," I said, plugging in the projector, "everyone deserves the full picture." The screen lit up with my presentation, what I'd privately called Tiffany's behavior timeline. First came the photos from her Audi's trunk, $2,000 in purchases that week. A $400 theory dress, your size, I said, showing a receipt. A $300 spa visit on Tuesday when you forgot your wallet at lunch. Gasps rippled through the group. Next, I displayed 15 WhatsApp screenshots, her promises to pay, "My app's down, I'll send it tomorrow," never fulfilled. I read one aloud, "Forgot my wallet, Monday for sure." That was 3 months ago. The room grew quieter, the air heavy with realization. Then came her social media, a parade of excess. A September Napa Valley trip, $1,500 hotel tagged. August in Miami, July at a Scottsdale spa. Each post screamed wealth, not hardship. This $300 Dom Perignon, I said, showing her champagne photo, was captioned, "Life's too short for cheap." Colleagues shifted, eyes darting to Tiffany, who sat frozen, her face pale as the projector's glow. Zoe's testimony followed, her words projected large. "She ate my brownies, called them dry, humiliated me after I spent $100 on ingredients." Lucas's was next. "She stole my $40 poke bowl, then made me the villain." Whispers of "wow, and that's awful," broke the silence. I showed the LinkedIn contacts account, Tiffany's same tricks at her old job, owing 5 people money when she left. Finally, my list. 23 incidents over 6 months, with dates, amounts, witnesses. "This isn't a misunderstanding," I said. It's a pattern. The bar was silent, the clink of glasses gone, only the hum of the projector lingering. Tiffany tried to speak. You don't understand, but Jennifer cut her off. What's not simple? Spending $800 on a bag, then dodging a $70 bill? James added. Or humiliating Zoe over her brownies? The group's mood shifted, their sympathy for Tiffany evaporating under the weight of evidence. Sarah, our manager, spoke next, her voice like steel. Tiffany, this is unacceptable. This stops now. Marcus, who'd bought her sob story, shook his head. I can't believe you manipulated us like this. Tiffany's defense crumbled, her voice small, no trace of her usual theatrics. She grabbed her bag and left, her heels echoing in the quiet bar. The group didn't debate. Her ostracism was instant, unspoken, final. No more invitations, no more excuses. By Monday, she'd requested a transfer to another department, citing growth opportunities. But we knew the truth. She couldn't function where her mask had been ripped off. The office transformed after that night. Happy hours felt light again. Laughter genuine, not strained. Zoe brought cupcakes the next week, her smile bright, no fear of being mocked. Lucas joined outings, his warmth back, though he set firmer boundaries. Colleagues shared their own Tiffany stories. $20 for emergency gas never repaid, rides taken without gas money, a dodged group gift. It was like a dam breaking, relief washing over us as we realized how widespread her exploitation had been. Sarah confided later, You did what I couldn't as a leader. You showed us how to confront this head on. The bar's projector had been my weapon, but the truth was the real force, cutting through Tiffany's lies and freeing us all. The office felt lighter in the weeks after Tiffany's transfer, like a fog had lifted, leaving behind clear skies and the hum of genuine laughter. The break room, once heavy with unspoken tension, now buzzed with chatter over Zoe's latest cupcakes, her smile radiant as she passed them out. Lucas cracked jokes at lunch, his generosity tempered with a new confidence to say no when needed. I walked through the office, the clatter of keyboards and the scent of fresh coffee grounding me. But inside, I was still processing the shift in myself. Confronting Tiffany hadn't just changed the team. It had unearthed a version of me I'd buried under years of avoiding conflict, a Nicole who could stand firm without losing kindness. As I organized our next group dinner, I felt a quiet pride, not in victory, but in protecting the people who made this place feel like home. Tiffany's departure wasn't celebrated, no speeches, no farewell cards. She cleared her desk in silence, her usual flair gone, and left without a word. Some colleagues felt uneasy about her ostracism, but most, like Sarah, saw it as justice. Actions have consequences, Sarah said over coffee, her voice firm. She built this with her choices. The team's dynamic healed quickly. Happy hours were fun again, bills split without drama, trust rebuilt like a bridge we all crossed together. I noticed small changes. Miguel called out a late payment, jokingly but firmly. Zoe shared her designs without hesitation, and Lucas budgeted his treats without fear of losing them. We'd learned to guard our kindness, not hide it. I spent evenings reflecting, my apartment's soft lamplight casting shadows as I sipped tea and scrolled through old notes. Tiffany's pattern, 23 incidents, thousands spent on luxury while dodging $20 bills, showed a deeper truth. She thrived on exploiting trust, counting on our silence. But silence wasn't virtue, it was complicity. By speaking up, I'd protected Zoe's warmth, Lucas's generosity, and our team's spirit. A LinkedIn message from Jessica, who'd worked with Tiffany before, sealed this for me. You did what we couldn't, she wrote. She exploited us for a year, and no one stopped her. Thank you. Her words hit like a closing chord, confirming Tiffany's behavior wasn't new, it was a cycle I'd helped break. Months later, I heard Tiffany tried her tricks in her new department, but the office legend of my presentation had spread. Colleagues there shut her down quickly, and she left the company soon after. I felt no joy, only a quiet sadness for someone who chose manipulation over connection. My life, though, bloomed in ways I hadn't expected. A promotion to team manager came, my boss citing my handling of difficult situations as key. I mentored others, sharing my mantra, document everything, confront with facts, protect your dignity. Our dinners grew frequent, filled with laughter, no one checking their wallet with dread. The city's skyline sparkled outside my window, a reminder that strength and kindness could coexist. Looking back, I saw the ripple effects. Zoe flourished, her creativity lighting up meetings. Lucas set boundaries, his warmth undimmed. Sarah admitted she'd hesitated too long to act, thanking me for showing her how. The office became a place where exploitation was spotted early, stopped fast, a culture born from one uncomfortable stand. I wasn't a hero, just someone who'd learned that protecting good people sometimes meant facing the storm head-on, not hiding from it. The days stretched softer after that, each one folding into the next like pages in a well-loved book. I'd sit at my desk, sunlight filtering through the blinds, and feel the weight of silence replaced by something warmer. Connection, trust, the kind that grows when you've weathered a storm together. Organizing dinners now felt like weaving a tapestry, each thread a moment of laughter, a shared glance, a bill split without tension. Zoe's cupcakes, Lucas's shy grin, Sarah's steady nod. They were my anchors, reminders of why I'd acted. The city hummed outside, its rhythm steady, and I'd trace my fingers over my notebook, where Tiffany's story was just a chapter closed. I'd found my voice, not in anger, but in the quiet resolve to guard what mattered. And in that resolve, I discovered a truth that lingered like a whisper. Kindness isn't weakness. It's the courage to stand for those who can't, to build a world where trust doesn't come at a cost.